Hello, hello, everyone. How are you? I see a lot of my friends over in the comments chatting away. I want to welcome everyone in and welcome everyone that will watch the replay later on. I'm going to be sharing the sneak peeks that I've done so far and then some new little sneak peeks tonight for our Heartfelt Harvest Release. Hello, Rachel and Lori, Laura, always rejoicing. Hello, Missy, Kathy. Hello, hey, Carol. It is hot in Texas, I know. Hello, Brenda. Let's see here. Lots of my friends over there. All right. It's hot in Washington, even. Hello, Anne. How are you? Hello, Martha, my neighbor Martha. Jasmine, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Okay, I know that you guys are dying to see what I have to share with you tonight. And I want to remind everyone that I'll be doing these sneak peek live streams up until our release, which is on the 25th. And so we have a few more little sneak peeks. And then we always do a really fun release party where I show the whole release and then all of the samples that I have made. So hello, hello. Okay, without further ado, we're going to go down here to my desk view and we're going to share and we're going to talk about the sneaks that we have seen so far. So first up, I shared the Fall Leaves 3D embossing folder. This is what I would call maybe the negative space. And I did kind of a fun inky technique on that and then added some of our buzzwords. And then this is what it looks like just on dark cardstock. You can see all that great detail that presses into the paper. So beautiful. So this is what I would call like the back side. And then this is the front side of that beautiful fall embossing folder. And then without further ado, I know you all loved the goat cart or the farm cart, as we're calling it. We have the fall bounty with the gourds and pumpkins. And then, of course, this beautiful fancy fall or fall fancy layering frame dies, which are always a hit. I love to layer my paper. And so I am loving all of these dies. This die set even includes the little banner. And then, of course, we've got some of our beautiful new pattern paper back there behind. All right, Laurel is working on her Christmas cards. Oh my goodness, you are ahead of the game. Okay, so let me set these cards aside and then we're going to get inky tonight. We're going to do some ink blending. I know everyone loves our layering stencils and I love our layering stencils. And I'm going to pull this back here. And this layering stencil set is called Autumn Delight, but it was purposefully created for us to be able to use it all year round. So really it has to do with how you ink up your images. And I know looking at it right now, it doesn't look like a whole lot. It doesn't look anything fancy. But once we get this inked onto our paper, you're going to see how cool it is. Let me see if I can kind of stack it up here on some paper and then tilt it in the light here. And we're going to get inky tonight. Now I am going to pull in some more fall kind of autumn looking colors because I am gearing up for fall. So I have cut down some just craft cardstock that I'm going to ink blend on this evening. And I'm going to stick it down here to this waffle flower grip mat. I've been loving these to ink blend on and with. And I'm going to start out, you can see it a little better if I flip it this way. So you can see all the leaves. You can see we've got some little blossoms here and some little berries or pods or something like that. And so let's take the very first stencil, which has, let me flip it over the correct way. That's how we can always tell whether we've got things going the right direction, is if the etched words are reading correctly. So this is going to be our leaves. And I am going to line it up the top and the bottom here. And then I'm going to trim down my cardstock, later on when I go to make the cards with this. And so I'm just going to kind of line it up here and stick it down to that mat. Now I've trimmed my paper just a little bit smaller than the stencil. And this that you're seeing in the background right there is actually my camera above the head. So once I start inking everything up, you'll get a better look at the stencil. Let me see if I want to do one of the other ones first. Might be easier. There's really no like right or wrong way to stencil these. And so I may want to start with one of the other ones. Let me grab this one that has some of the little stems and things on it. And then again, I'm just going to line it up and make sure I've kind of got everything where I want it, and then I'll trim it down at the end. Okay, so this one says large stems. I'm going to press that down just like so. And I'm going to ink up the stems with a really, really deep, dark ink. And I'm going to use for this one pine needles. It's not an ink that I pull out a lot of times. And so we're going to make these stems and part of these little, the bottom parts of the little florals, I'm going to make them really good and dark. And so we're going to ink this up. And this is going on craft paper. So we're going to get kind of that muted, rich tone that's going to go with, all of our fall things. But I inked this up today with different colors, and it actually turned out really pretty for like a spring card. So don't you love when your crafting supplies can be used throughout the year instead of, we can ink it up for fall, but then we can also use it at other times of the year as well. Okay, so I've got that first layer all inked up and ready to go. So let's do the reveal. This is always my favorite part. Okay, and then now we've got the really rich jewel-toned pine needles, little stems and things back there. Let me set my brush aside, and I'm going to set that stencil aside, and I'm going to clean them all up later on. All righty here. Next, I'm going to take the Autumn Delight, and this says small petals at the top. So I'm going to do my lining up, and you'll see here as I get this going where it's going to line up and connect with all the little flowers. You can see here with the little holes right there where it connects to that little stem. And I'm just going to shimmy everything around until I get it exactly where I want it. Make sure everything is lined up. And so I apologize if my head gets in the way for just a second while I get everything lined up and then pressed down into place, just like so. Okay, so for these petals, I think I'm gonna do, this is hard when I'm pulling out the fall colors. I think I want to do, let's do wild honey for parts of it. I just pulled out a whole lot of fall colors to get really inky. Okay, I've got my little brush here and I'm inking up. I don't think I have pine needles distress oxide. Oh, that sounds like you need to collect that one. Okay, and then I'm going to go down on here, get some of the little berries, just like that. And I like to run it kind of this way and then back and forth so I can get all of those little nooks and crannies. Just kind of working my way around. Back and forth. Now, do any of you tell me in the comments if you like stenciling for cards? Do you like to stencil to do backgrounds? Okay, let's pull this up. And then we've got our wild honey. I like some of these, like this right here, where it's gotten deeper down in here and then it kind of fades up into a yellow. You can really see where it hit the sides of that stencil to get that color variation. I like that. All right, love stencils. Okay, Cheryl loves stenciling on cards. Okay, me too. All right, now I'm going to take the large petals. So I'm going to line this up. You can see if I pull this down a little bit, see where now we're going to fill in some of the other little parts of the flowers and everything's going to line up. So I'm just going to line up my little berries and my little flowers and some of the other little edges to make sure that we get in here really nicely. And then I can kind of press down around the edges, make sure we're all lined up. Now for this portion, since we did the wild honey, I think I'm going to go in this time with crackling campfire. So I'm going to start pulling in a little more of the fall colors. And so let's see here. I've got my crackling campfire ink here. Let's pull that aside. I'm going to go in first with my dirty brush because I always like to see how much ink I have on there. And I'm just going to start working that right up there. Oh, I like that. Just like that. Maybe tap. Get it deeper down towards the base of the little petal and then work my way up. And you can see kind of that fade going right in there. And so I'm going to work my way first around these larger petals. And I'm kind of just being careful where I ink. Of course, you could go through with a Post-it note or something like that and kind of block off the areas or mask off the areas. If you want to do any of this in a different color, I'm going to deepen up some of the bases of these little petals. And then I'm just going to go in here. So some of these other parts. And I can do them a little more heavy-handed or a little lighter. Twirl it this way and that to get down into those little nooks and crannies. Okay, there's another one of the little bases of those flowers right there that I want to get. And now I'm going to use my dirty brush to go in for these little leaves that are scattered throughout the background. Oh, there's another one of those little flowers. I don't want to miss that guy. Little leaves, dirty brush, just like that. Here's another one. Okay, now for these little berries that are here and kind of scattered around, I'm going to go in really heavy-handed. Get my brush really good and juicy. That way when I go over those, they're going to be super dark. And I'm kind of tipping my brush. Got a little bit on there. We'll just deepen up the edge. There we go. And then some more berries right there. And I'm going to deepen up the edge of that guy. Okay, let's see how we're looking here. Right in there. Oh, I don't want to forget these little berries down here. Use the side of my brush and really get them deep and dark. Okay. All right. I'm liking kind of the way everything's looking. And I know right now that the stencil looks like a mess, but let's do the reveal. And let's see how we're looking here. Look at that. Look how pretty that's going to be. I think you could even it away, now that I'm looking at this with the little berries and things, I think you could even do holiday cards with this, you know, change up the colors and do reds and greens and maybe a blue or gold. Okay, so now I've got this flipped over, and now you can see I've got my little holes right in here that are going to be the little berries on top of these stems. And so I can kind of line everything up. I've got the little openings here for these little flowers. And so it's really starting to come together now to where you're going to tell, you're going to be able to see how if you just shade everything in other colors, and I'm really getting my head in here to kind of move everything around, that you can change this up and do, you know, whatever season that you want to do. And I'm going to tap that down all the way around. You can use pixie spray or whatever you want to use. Okay, now for these large open flowers, I think I'm going to do fossilized amber. And this is where I may get, I'm usually not a post-it note kind of girl, but I think I want to do the little, other little, what are those, berries? I think I want to do those in a, what is that, speckled egg maybe? And so I'm going to post-it note parts of these and kind of move them around, shimmy things around as I go. Okay, we've got fossilized amber. Let's see here. Yes, we've got newbies in here. Hello, hello, everyone. Okay, we're going to get our brush all nice and juicy here. Now this one, let's see here. I'm going to strategically lay it right here. I'm going to move this up. I'm going to strategically lay it right here, and I'm going to ink it this way. Ooh, let's get that even juicier. I'm going to ink it this way because it's going to be darker right down here and then kind of fade out as we go. Let's get that good and juicy. I'm going to maneuver that one, and I'm going to ink this one this way because I can kind of control where a lot of that ink is going to go down onto the stencil. Okay, let's do this one right here. Let's get it really good and inky. And I'm going to flick up that direction and get it really dark towards the base and then fade out. And then we can do this little guy, and my stencil is moving on me. This is where we should pull out pixie spray. And I'm going to flick up that way. Just like that. And now I'm going to move things around, and I'm going to see how we're looking here. Okay, I want to grab these down here in the corner. So I'm just going to ink it up a little bit. And I think I want to block off that little leaf that was right down there, because I think I want to do those a different color. Just like so. All right, now let's see how we're looking here. We're doing really good. Okay, I've got all the little petals done with some little magic post-it note masking. And I'm going to switch colors on us. I am going to do, and this may be crazy, but I'm going to go with some speckled egg. So I'm going to ink up the brush. I like a little bit of that bluish turquoise mixed in with the oranges and the yellows. Okay, I'm going to go in here and get into those little nooks and crannies of those little berries and the little leaf. Just like that. Let's get it really good and juicy again. And I'm going to make sure everything is lined up again. Like that. And the little berries. Come on. And see, the mat is really gripping to parts of it. There we go. There we go. Just like that. And a leaf. And the little berries down here. Okay, let's see how we're looking. Oh, and I don't want to forget the little leaf that I left open right down there. Oh, and oh, I got those. Okay, let's do a reveal and see how we're looking. Okay, we're looking pretty good. All right, let me make sure we've got everywhere. Okay, speckled egg, all done. Now I've got the large leaves and stems. Okay, do you see where everything is going to connect now? Okay, so I'm looking around, making sure all my little flowers connect in where they're supposed to go. And then I'm going to press. And then this time I'm going to use, let's use, this is the hard part. Okay, I think I'm going to do parts of them in, I don't know why I'm showing you my brush, peeled paint, whoops, which is kind of more of that olive looking green. And then I may pull in some rustic wilderness. Okay, so let's get my peeled paint brush all nice and juicy. Everything is lined up. Okay, and then I'm going to go just like this. Now, do you all like the stencils? Do you like to mask off and change up your colors? Or are you more of just like a stencil it all over kind of crafter? And there's no right or wrong way, really. I'm going to do that one in the peeled paint. I'm going to kind of shimmy it around. Let's see here. Peeled paint there, and then a little there. Okay, how are we looking? Maybe a little bit up here to get some of that olive green up in there. Okay, now I think I'm going to switch colors and do a different color green. This time, let's do rustic wilderness. Let's see, I'm a stencil it all over kind of gal. I hear you. It's easy and it's quick, right? Okay, I do both. It depends on the stencil. Right, I do some masking when needed. Yes. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to go right over. Let's make sure we're all lined up here. And now we're going to do rustic wilderness. And really, if my rustic wilderness and my peeled paint mix just a smidge, it's still going to be pretty. Back and forth. And I kind of like the way that that is kind of fading out into the tips of those little leaves. And this could be beautiful and it could be a hot mess. We'll see, right? When we're all finished. Let's get that one there. Here, let's work my way up. I like that color fade that we've got going on there. Back and forth. Okay, now let's do a look here and see if we got everything. That looks pretty good. Okay, are you seeing now what we're looking like here? Do you see how if you ink that up with like pinks and yellows or corals or something like that, how that would totally go for springtime? Okay, so let's peel this one back. Let's do our little reveal and how we're looking so far. How cute is that? Okay, we're looking good. Okay, the last one, and this one is like the little stems and some little details. Do you see all those little, they almost look like little scratches in the stencil, okay? That's what's going to add in kind of all the fun little details in here. So again, I'm just going to get my head in the way probably, and I'm going to look all around the edges and all my little stems and flowers and leaves and make sure we get that all inked or all set down. This time I'm going to go in with walnut stain. Okay, so we're going to darken it up just a little bit in those little stem areas. You could do a darker green even if you wanted to. I'm going to shimmy this little guy maybe. Let's see here. Let's make sure we're lining up everywhere. There we go. All right, really good and juicy. All right. And then let's go to town. Now this one is going to be an all over same color. I'm not going to do any masking or changing colors. And I'm just going to work my way right around the stencil. Go back and forth. Get those bristles in those little detailed areas. Let's juice it up one more time. And now I'm going to work my way down this way. We're going to get all those little nooks and crannies. Here we go. This is going to be really cute and whimsical, I think. I think this, you know, the more I chat with you guys and ink and do all the little things, I think this would be so cute for the holidays as well. It almost reminds me of those like Scandinavian, Nordic with the little details. Like if you did a bunch of reds and like a silver or something over the top. Let me get really juicy here. Work it all down in there. There we go. Okay. Let's do a double check. All right. Oh, hello, Melissa. Hello. Okay. Look how cute that is before I've even removed the last layer. Okay, so let's take a gander here. Let's do our magic reveal. And then look how cute that is. Okay, let's look. Now some of this, I think I want a little darker. So, you know, all I have to do is line it back up. Right, and I'm probably going to get my head in the way. And then I'm going to hit those spots really heavy-handed. Right? Just like that. Just like that. Just to darken it up on that orange ink. Let's see here. Let me make sure I'm lined up. Okay, let me take a look here. I like that. Look how cute. Okay. All right, let's see here. Fancy, fancy. Yeah, and see how I just changed up the colors? Even if you pulled in a black right there or a super dark green, or instead of using pine needles like up in here, you could have done, or I could have done pine needles in here and done it really dark. I think I want to, let me see here. Let me look at my colors here. I think it's going to be okay. The speckled egg doesn't show up as well as I would have liked, but I think it's going to be pretty, like, once I get it trimmed down and on the card. I think it mixes something in. A purple would have been really pretty on there. Like a burgundy would have been really pretty. All right, so let me do a little tiny cleanup here. And then the first thing that I'm going to do before I go to trim this down is I'm going to use my heat tool, and I am going to help dry this ink just a little bit. Let's flip that over, straighten it out just a little bit. Okie dokie. All right, gold glitter. Somebody's talking about glitter. All right, now I'm going to trim this down. You could use your die sets or whatever you like to trim this down. And I am going to be a little bit strategic here because I'm stingy with all my little parts and pieces. I like to hang on to them. So first thing I'm going to do, that side's pretty good, is I'm going to trim off just the little bit of excess that I have where I just have cardstock on the edge, and then I'll trim it down. I like to keep all my little extra pieces like in the container that I put my stencils in, because if I trim it down, I can always use the sliver that I cut off on another card as like a little a little strip, a little piece of, pattern paper, if you will. Okay, so I'm going to trim this down, and it almost breaks my heart to have to trim it. I'm going to trim it down to, let's do 4 right there, but I'm going to have a really pretty little strip right here. See that? So I'm going to trim that off, and then I'm going to trim it to 5. And let me make sure which end I want to trim off, because I can be choosy here. I think I'm going to trim it this way. That's kind of another thing that's fun about stenciling, is you can kind of pick and choose, what you want in your background. And then I'm going to have this whole other little strip that I can add, on a different card base. Like if I just want a little strip like this, and then add a beautiful sentiment or something like that. So I'm gonna hold on to that because that's really cute, I think. Okay, so let me see what I've got here. And then I need to decide what color of a card base I want to add this to. Here's the green, and then I've got like an orangey colored card base. So you guys help me decide. I've got green, I've got orange, and this looks limey on camera, but it's really like there you go. It's really kind of a yellow. I kind of like the green. What do we think about the green? Yeah, everybody's saying green. Green or orange. I could really do 2 cards with the pieces that I have. Look, like that, with a little sentiment. So I could do a green card, and then I could do an orange card. Look at that. Okay, so I've got, let's pull this one out. Let's do my card bases. I couldn't decide which color, so let's fold this one up, and I'm gonna find my little bone folder here. Oops. And get going. Yes, both. Just like you're doing. Looks nice. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't decide. That yellow is a really pretty buttery yellow. So let's do that one. Let's do the orange. Right? Because why not? I'm going to get a 2 for 1 out of this, which I kind of had an idea that I could manage that with that 6x6" stencil. Okay, so this one is going to go on this card base, something like so. And then this one can go something like that. Okay, now here's the question. As I cut these to stamp my sentiment, so technically I could add like an orange matte, our background for my sentiment here, and then like a pretty green one over here, and we could like mix it up a little bit. Let's do that. Okay, so I've got a really nice, fun new sentiment to share with you, and I've got it loaded in here. I'm going to set these right over here, and it's going to be hard for you to read until I stamp it, but it says, "Kind people are my kind of people." So I'm going to stamp this on both the orange and the green. Okay, so I'm going to slip that in there just like so. Everybody's liking the orange and green. And then I am going to stamp it in. I think I'm going to pull out that walnut stain and do the really dark brown. So I'm going to get this really good and inky. This is the first time I've inked this sentiment. So let's see here. I think it's almost time to re-ink walnut stain, but I'm going to set this down. And because this sentiment is a little bit chunkier, for lack of a better word, it's a little bit thicker of a font, I can really use some good pressure on it. Look how cute that's going to be. Okay, let's go. Let me pop out just a little bit so we can see what's going on here. And I'm going to ink this up again. And let's set that down, and we'll give it a good little rub down here with my pressure tool. And let's pick it up. That's looking pretty good. That's looking really nice. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside, and I can die cut it in just a minute. Let's do our green one while we're stamping. And we'll ink it up real good. Okay, and we'll set it down. Give it some love here with the pressure tool, and then we'll pick it back up. Look how cute that's going to be, that chocolatey brown on that cardstock. All right, let's get this one going. Hello, Misty. All right, and let's pick this up. And then that's going to be really cute. Okay, so let's put the lid back on this so I don't stick my elbow in it. And then I'm going to set that one there. And now I can pull out the coordinating die for that sentiment. So, you know, Melissa always has the cool coordinating dies with all the sentiments. And before I run this through my little die machine, and because that is oxide ink, I do want to just warm that up just a little bit. Okay. Let's get this side. And I'm going to hit the back side just a little bit. Okie dokie. So we're all ready to go there. Okay, I'm going to put this one over the top. And I like to use, let me find it here on my messy desk, some kind of low tack tape to hold this into place. And I can kind of get right over the top here and make sure we're all lined up nicely. And hold that down and hold that down. And then I am actually going to trim off my excess paper because I can stick that in my little paper hoard. But now I can run it through my little bitty buzz cutter. Okay. Make sure I get my plates out here. I'm going to put that one down, and then that's going to slip right through there. And now let's see how cute this is. I always like to pop these out and we can look and see how cute. Oh, that's going to be a winner. Look at that. And then let's look. Let's do a little show here. Oh, that's going to be cute. Look at that. Oh my word. They're going to be adorable. Okay. So let's line up the other one. I don't know if you guys get excited about die cuts and stenciling and colors and stuff like that like I do. I'm a little nutty. Okay, so I'm just going to line this up. Let's see here. Make sure we're all good to go here before I press down my little bit of highlighter tape. And then I've got my plates down and my paper down. We love that. Stay nutty. Oh my word. I'm nutty. I just get so excited about, I guess that's one of the good things, right? Is if I didn't get excited about this, this would not be a fun job. And this is a fun job. So you got to love what you do, right? Okay. So now we've got our cute little sentiments. And like this one, see here, can go like so. Isn't that going to be, look at those. It almost looks like fabric or something. I don't know. And then we can kind of layer this one on. Look how cute those are going to be. Okay. So I think I'm going to be super simple. Let's see, you make it easy. Oh, good. Okay. Let's see, what did I do to this one? Where did I cut that? I don't know why it's so much shorter, but I'm about to, this little card base is going to get a haircut. Let's see what I did here. As I was, this is why, because I cut it to 5. This is why we don't talk and craft at the same time. It's because I don't pay attention. There we go. Now that makes me a little happier that all of our borders are looking good. All right, I'm going to get my glue going here. Hello, let's see here. All right, okay. Oh, somebody had always rejoicing. Melissa, just like embossing folders pop, will there be sentiments, words that can pop off of the page? Oh, let me get my glue to go in here. Because I think for my little stenciled backgrounds here that I will glue these down flat and do them simple, just like that. There we go. And then the sentiment, I can add some little adhesive foam dots back there and kind of pop those up. Okay, so let's add our fun little bonus strip. We're getting a bonus card. Okay, and I'm going to leave a little bit of the orange here on this side, but I am going to hold it up and eyeball it so we can make it fairly straight going down the side there. Look at that. Okay, let's see here. All right, now our little foam dots. So let's do a couple here. And I'm not going to get too crazy about making sure they go, maybe one more little guy right there. But we have the nice little thin foam strips too, if you really like to build up your little edges. I think we're going to be fine. Okay, now the question is, let me look at my time here, 45. I was going to say, do we need pearls or gems or anything? But I think we might call it done. Okay, so I think this guy, I'm going to put right down in here. And I like to use my tweezers and get my hands out of the way. And so I'm going to add this kind of right down in here. And before I press it really hard, I'm just going to make sure we're all lined up. And then we've got that cutie. And then let's do this one. It was blurry for me. That went under settings. Uh-oh. Might be. Okay, I hope you're not blurry for me either. Oh, is it blurry? I hope not. As you can tell by my mat and everything, I've really been working hard trying to get my new craft room all sorted out, and like the lighting, and it's hard when you know, you're trying to, you especially go into a new room and try to get everything to work like it's supposed to. And then of course, during the live stream, the sun goes down on the outside, and even though the blinds are closed, it really does make a big difference. Okay, so let's go here, and I hope not blurry for me. Okay. All right, it looks good to me. Okay, good. No, you're good. Thank you, Melissa. That had me worried there for a second. It does turn where it's a work in progress. It's a work, but it's a lot better tonight. The other night was really dark, so we're working. Orange, everybody. Okay, so tell me in the comments, which is your favorite? Do you like this all over background one? Do you like this with the little strip? But we got a twofer out of this little stencil set, and it's called Autumn Delight. Super great cards, beautiful cards. Okay, good for me. Good. Okay. All right. The overall background, that one too. I really like it on the green. The all over is her favorite. All right. Love the full panel background. About how awesome is the second card with the spare. I know. I was going to save it and put it in my little hoard stash that I have, but it was quick and easy to put together a twofer card. So why not? Why, we've got all the stuff out, right? And now I've got two different little thank you cards, or, you know, little things like that. Okay. Pattern strip and the orange. All right. All right, you guys, you know what time it is. It's time for Lisa to help us out with our giveaway this evening. Take a little sip of water. Kelley, where is the Honeybee store located? It is in Lebanon, Oregon. Miss Susan. Congrats to Melody. Melody is our winner tonight. So congratulations, Melody. And I'm going to put my email up here. Melody, if you will email me at Kelley, Kelley, at Honeybee Stamps, I will send you your prize. And I want to remind everyone that our big release is coming up next week. We have a couple more live streams next week, and then we have our release party on the 25th. So make sure you come back next week. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, and I hope to see you on Monday night. We may see some more lovely layers. All right, you guys, thanks for joining me, and bye-bye.